And introduce the candidates this evening. To the right, we have our present mayor, Doug Parsons, and Harry Goslin Jr. Goslin. That's what it is up here. Oh, sorry. Anyway, we'll make that correction. And the candidates for city council, he is not present, so we'll go with Donald McCarty, Larry Wood, and Carla Young. Tonight, your voices may be heard. However, candidate meetings are not a forum for the audience to recommend action to the candidates. They will, however, be allowed to express their concerns about issues of importance to you and to solicit suggestions from the candidates for solutions to the problems. The questions should not become personal questions or attacks on any of the candidates. The questions should be only regarding a candidate's stance for election. For those in the audience, if you wish to ask a question, please stand and Liz will bring you the microphone. Don't start your question until you get the microphone because we can't hear you. All candidates have 2 minutes to respond. We'll give them a warning at 30 seconds. There will be a 1 minute closing at the end. Around 8 o'clock, each one of them can stand up and give kind of their conclusion about the meeting today. And we'll go ahead and open our meeting to the question of format. Anybody want to start?
I have one.
Okay.
This is from, let me get into it. Oh, I'm not going to be able to open it. This is from Natasha Naylor, and she said, for the mayors, every year we have to call in every storm to make sure roads get plowed to get to the corrals to feed and haul water daily. There are currently 2 to 3 horse owners that have to leave them up in the winter. What can you do better to make sure it's done? It gets more snow than in town. So that's one question, and it's addressed to the mayors.
The city does try to keep the rodeo grounds plowed. I was not aware until last year when Natasha called and said that her dad couldn't get into his horses. So at that time I notified Mike, and Mike had already plowed. But their corrals are located in a little corner, so when he plows, he has to come up the hill and go down to it, so it kind of piles the snow off to the side. I think he's tried his best to keep that area clear. I haven't heard any complaints from the other folks that own horses up in that area. Their corrals are more towards the northern side, not on the south side. So basically, if it snows, I'll notify the maintenance crew that when they go up and plow the corrals to make sure they get everybody's fairly.
And then this is for, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That would be a maintenance problem that would have to be taken care of. Generally, the streets would be more of a responsibility for the city to take care of prior to that. People's driveways, so the ambulance can get in, the fire trucks can get in. So that would, to me, that would be secondary, that would have to be taken care of. Your folks' health and welfare is more important. So that would be a secondary thing that I would be concerned with.
Okay, this is for Donald. Is it true if you are elected, you will bring back the tradition Sunnyside has had for over 50 years on Christmas Eve? If not, Goslin, what's your opinion on this? A lot of people plan traditions for decades around it on Christmas Eve. I'm not sure what the tradition on Christmas Eve, she's talking, the Santa.
She is referring to the Santa Claus on top of the fire truck and delivering candy on Christmas Eve. Sunnyside was able to do it based on the size of the town. When they combined with how big the town is, how many volunteer firefighters we have, it is a chore, a large chore. And the fire department, all of the firefighters decide together what they do. And a lot of them feel that Christmas Eve is spent with family, but some do still want to do the tradition. It's something we haven't talked about for this year yet, but I know it'll be talked about shortly. But it is decided amongst the firefighters themselves, since they are the ones that volunteer to do it.
Did you have a question behind?
I did. This is for the mayors. What is being done at present in order to try to bring more industry or jobs into this area up here? Or if elected again, what's going to be the future commitment in order to get jobs or get industry up into this area?
Earlier this year, I attended Governor Herbert's World Trade Center 25,000. That's 25,000 jobs for rural Utah. There are a lot of rural areas in this state. You know, the main counties being up in Salt Lake, Utah County, Weber. They really don't need the jobs. I mean, if you listen to the news, they're going to get a new 1,000 person job opportunity to build rail cars. You know, that's unfortunate that we're not able to get something like that. Hopefully, in the future, I plan on contacting some companies to see about a solar farm, and also it's been brought up by one of the people running for council about at one time when the power plant was being built, to have a tomato plant there, tomato farm, and there is one in Mona, Utah. So I plan on contacting and seeing what their response will be if they wanted to expand in this area. The main thing is we need jobs out this way. We need to keep our kids here. It's unfortunate that when they took down the high school, that now our kids are being bused all the way to Price and back. So hopefully, if we can somehow get some type of industry out this way, maybe we can have enough kids that might reconsider installing another high school.
Once again, I'm at a disadvantage because I'm not in office, but I have received information from the county. I've been talking to the county a lot lately. There's a government grant out there right now the city should pursue through HUD. This would bring immediate jobs and be upgrade to your homes and then get rid of some of the dilapidated homes. This grant came out 30 days ago, and this was sent to me by the county. So there's opportunities out there through the state and through our Senator Hatch, who sends these out pretty frequently. They need to be acted upon. We don't need to go begging somebody else for a job. There's things that we can do here locally. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jerry Manley, and I'm a long-term resident here. I moved away a few years ago and I came back here recently. And I bought some land on Grant Avenue, and I don't know how many people are familiar with that area, but it's up above David Avery. And when I bought that land, it was no secret that what I was going to do there. I was going to build a house there. Okay, so what happened is I bought the land for fair market value, and I went ahead to the city and I got a building permit and a water connection fee, okay? And at that time, after I received the building permit and water connection fee, I went ahead and I cleared the land. Now I bought the property for fair market value, and I cleared the land for $1,800. So I'm into this land over $10,000. Okay, and then I was told by the city that they were not going to give me water and sewer to that land after I made the improvements. And I've been in contact with the city for a year and a half now, trying to get some satisfaction out of this, and with no help at all. And they said they were going to do a water mitigation thing, because I guess David Avery was getting flooded out, so they were going to buy the land. And I haven't heard a word in a year and a half. And I noticed they're doing work down here on 8th West now, so I'm wondering, you know, I guess my question is this, okay? And basically, without putting any fingers on anybody, my question is this: are you going to bring, and this is for the challengers, are you going to bring your own broom in, or are you going to get a city-issued broom to sweep everything under the carpet? Because I don't think I've been treated fairly.
That was addressed to anyone that would like to answer.
Did you go to planning and zoning first? That was the first.
Ma'am, I did go to the planning and zoning committee. I didn't go to the meeting, but I went to one of the chairpersons of the committee. Her name is Barbara Robinette. She told me she didn't see a problem at that time, but obviously there's a problem now.
Well, you should have went to planning and zoning, because that is in the flood zone. But the Constitution is made for us, as we the people, not the. You hire the mayor and the council. You elect them. That's our freedom to vote. So that's where it stands. Is you guys? It depends on you guys. I'm running for a voice of the city, and that's where it's going to be with me. Your voices need to be heard and taken care of at that time. And I'll try to do whatever I can to help if elected on that one.
Mr. Manley, you came to the council numerous times, and we tried to answer your questions. I even supported, at that time, to help pay back some of that money that you spent. So don't stand down there and say that we did not try to do anything. It is still going to the CIB. That is part of our flood mitigation plan. So you come to this arena and you are attacking people that aren't here to help defend themselves, and not speaking to Mr. Avery or Councilman Avery or myself to see what is actually happening. So I hope we can get this issue resolved satisfactory for everybody. Is that okay with you, Jerry?
You know what? Doug, it's been a year. You know what, Doug? It's been a year and a half.
I told you it was
And I have not heard a word from anybody.
I told you it was going to take time. The last time you came to a meeting, I even said that it's going to take time. And hopefully, what is it, November? We are going to the CIB to see what they say. I told you it was going to take time. I'm sorry that it's taken this time, but that's the way it happened.
I'm Christine Manley, Doug. I just have to say, the last meeting that we went to, Mr. Avery approached me before the meeting began, And he told me that he was going to put in for a CIB loan on his own, so we decided to go with him. Well, I have talked to him numerous times, and he's done nothing but put me off, put me off, put me off. And to me, he's lying to me, and I don't appreciate that from my city council members. I want the truth. It's just as Carla Young said, it's we the people, not we the city council members. And it's me and Jerry are not after anybody. We just want some resolution here, and we want the truth to be told to us. That's all we're asking.
And we're trying to do that. We
And I-
honestly are.
And I appreciate all that you guys have done, but it has been a year and a half, and we would like to resolve this and get past this.
And hopefully we will.
Thank you.
Well, Jerry, I don't know all the details on it, but from what I've heard, you know, you haven't been done right, haven't been done fair. And if I'm elected on the council, I'll support you in getting resolution and getting what's done right, because it's one person right now, but I mean, other people could be in the same situation later. So through ordinances and stuff, ordinance reform, we need to make sure that whenever people buy land, and with the intent to put a residence on there, that it's good to do that, you know what I mean? And so that's part of the zoning, and evidently that must have slipped through somewhere. I know that was a flood zone area, but it should have been stopped long before we had problems with it like that.
I'd like to make an additional comment on that. I was told by one of the city council members, or the mayor himself, that I didn't do my due diligence on this. And I, in fact, went and looked up the GIS website, and that was zoned residential. It showed a road to the end of that. It showed a road clear to the end of my property, and I assumed utilities were there because there had been numerous homes built on the, they're just foundations now, but there were homes on the end of that street. I think Bill Brand had one there, and I think there was other people. But I just wanted to know that was zoned residential. So that's why we went ahead and went forward with this. And it wasn't a secret. I mean, we approached the city several times. I talked to city workers, the head of the city. I talked to several people. So I appreciate Mr. Wood, what you said, and thank you.
Hello, my name's Ron Johnson, and I live down on 30th. This question I'd like to address to the mayor. I'd like his opinion on nepotism in local governments. And there seems to be a lot of it up here in East Carbon. And in particular, and with public nuisances being allowed to operate in the city, and bother to other citizens.
That sounds like two questions. One, nepotism, okay? First, let me explain to you that we were two cities, Sunnyside, East Carbon. Maintenance person worked for Sunnyside. Secretary worked for East Carbon. No nepotism there, two different cities. Councilmember Holt, Police Officer Holt, was single. Liz Marcus, who you're bringing up, was single. So they got married, not nepotism. It's a course of nature. Mike Marcus, when we became two cities, not nepotism, became an employee of East Carbon City. What are you going to do? Fire everybody because they're kind of related? Because after the fact everything happened? No. I'm sure some people would like some people to be terminated because they don't have water for certification or something, but that's not the way it works. No, people here are employees. They know the system. They worked here many, many years. If, in fact, the two got married, I wasn't even mayor then. So I came into it. Nuisance, read the nuisance ordinance. See what a nuisance is. You know, you complain about the same guy all the time. To me, there's other things in this city that should be reported, but are not. People with pigs. I heard people that had a goat. I mean, what's a nuisance?
Another question came in anonymous. Harry, rumors have it that you're going to fire workers as soon as you're in office. Please put a stop to this vicious rumor.
You know, I had a conversation with Officer Holt last summer. He told me how much time and money it goes into training a police officer. It takes years. They're just like a city employee. They spend a lot of money on city employees. I knew who started that rumor, and it isn't me. And there's a lot of lies out there. Now, if you wish, I have text messages to city employees telling them how valuable they are. And I'll be glad to read them in front of God and everybody right now. I never threatened to fire any city employee because all the city employees are valuable parts of the community. If this city wants to be hoodwinked by a bunch of lies, rumors, and half-truths, go for it. Because that's all they are. Amen. I can prove it through technology. I've had 3 women come to my home and ask me, I heard you're going to fire everybody. I says, no, read this. Congratulating. We've had a city council member threaten to fire one of the employees for putting a sign in his yard. So don't tell me about firing people. It's all been made up, and it's lies. And I can prove it through technology.
My name is Joyce Ellis. I'm a longtime resident of this community. And my question and my concern is the fact that the city is going down, down, down. We have no pride in our city. If we have city ordinances that say you can have 3 old cars if they're all licensed and in your yard, and my neighbor has 24. And I'm old, but I work hard to keep my yard presentable. And I just feel that we need to have some assurance from somebody that we're going to see something happen in this city that can bring pride back, that can make us look like a decent city, instead of like the letter that was in the Sun Advocate from the man in Price who said, what's the use of the county giving us money up here when they actually need to take a machine and push us over because we're nothing but a tent city. And I don't like that, and I'd like to see people who would, I'm shaking my head off here, We need to have some pride brought back into our city, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one in this community that notices the weeds and the corruption that's in every other yard that you go by. I know we have a lot of empty houses. Somebody owns them, and that's my concern.
Right now, the city's working on a whole bunch of new ordinances. It's going to take time to do it. But even after the ordinances are passed, you're adopting Price's ordinance. Even if they're adopted by Price, by us as a city and the city council, you're still leaving yourself liable for lawsuits. You just can't go in there and say, you got too many cars. It's going to have to be a community thing. Because somebody can lawyer up. I know I've heard a lot of people talk about cars, trash, abandoned homes, but that's lawyer stuff. I'm sorry to say. If you write an ordinance against somebody, they're going to lawyer up. Yes, ma'am.
It's lawyers stuff. Oh, hold on. Go ahead and finish your reply when we get to you.
But it just, all the ordinances, we've talked to people over in the city of Price. They have a code enforcement. They can only do so much. And like the lady said, it's a matter of pride. You can make all the laws on the books, unless the people are going to join together and try to clean up. Just like Miss Barbarette, she went around and cleaned her and a group of people cleaned up all their cemeteries. There's things that the community can do. And it should be done locally. It shouldn't be put on government. But there's things that everybody needs to do. Thank you.
This is one of my biggest things too. If we have cleanup, if we take pride in our city, that will bring industry back. We had 2 years ago, when I was on council, we had an ordinance enforcer, and the parts that were taken care of good. And I want to bring that into the city. The ordinances, laws and ordinances are made for us. But you are the ones that should be taking part in that, because it is we the people. And you should come and let your concerns be known and do the laws from there. We do have some ordinances that I don't see no rhyme or reason for, but if we have that website that's almost up and running, I don't know whether they've done anything else with it since I left, but that's a place where you can go to see all your ordinances, all the laws, all the events coming up, so you can look and see what the ordinances are. You can have a time for the agendas, time for your minutes, and if I'm elected, I want to bring that back, the website, and so everybody knows. But it is we the people, and we have the right to vote. We have the right to make laws. Our Constitution gives us that right for liberty, life, and pursuit of happiness, so thank you.
We do go around, and I've been around quite a bit and given the police officers homes that I feel are weeded up and need to be looked at. Most of the homes that I've looked at are on the highway and the main road, so I haven't diligently this year done what I did previously. I'm not sure how much information the other council members have given the police officers on any homes. The gentleman that Mrs. Ellis is talking about, he's been cited, and he is going to lawyer up. We know that. But hopefully, something can be done. We don't know. We're trying. So it's going to be in the court system. So we'll see what happens when it's presented by our city attorney and see what the judge can do. So.
Like Harry said, him and I are both on planning and zoning. We have been working diligently for the last 2 years, coming up with new ordinances. There are ordinances from Sunnyside and a different set of ordinances from East Carbon City. Some of the ordinances just don't make sense. So we've been sorting through those, adopting ordinances that do work for other cities. We should be complete by the end of this year. Hopefully, either this city council or the next will vote them in as the official city ordinances. That remains to be seen. As far as city pride and cleaning up houses, I hate to compare us to other communities, but if you look at our neighbors on the other side of the county, if you look at Helper City, in the last year or two, they have spent $500,000 on improving the look of their city. And it is not done by the city. It was done by a citizens group with the city's support. It's the citizens of the community that make the community look better. The city council and the city itself is a support group for the citizens. If the citizens don't take action, there's not a lot the city itself can do. Okay.
Well, Mrs. Ellis, this is one of the things that's really bothered me as well, because I see a degrading of the community as well. I see 150 men working at Lila Canyon Mine, less than 50 of them are living in East Carbon. I see people working out at Morgantown Machine, they're driving from Price. I see people working at this power plant, driving from Price. I see even people work at this school, driving from Price. And you know, I would like to see this a lot better place, and we do need some ordinance reform. And I know people have been cited, but it seems to me like they get cited and they're good for the year. I've actually talked to a man who got cited and he was given a $100 fine, and the judge gave him $10 a month for 10 months to pay it off. What needs to happen, we need ordinance reform. We need, I don't care if they get lawyers. If they're doing something wrong, that doesn't mean that a lawyer is going to get them off of criminal activity. And they need to be cited, given a reasonable time to correct that violation. And if they don't, they get cited again. And if they don't want to clean it up after that, they can get cited again. And eventually they'll get tired of it. And if they want to spend money to hire lawyers, you know what? If the ordinances are intact and if they're good ordinances, then, and they're legal for us to have as ordinances, then it doesn't matter if they get an attorney or not, in my opinion. But you take a look at, like Don talked about, other communities. Look at Fairview. Fairview is a beautiful town. It's old town. And one thing that they do to keep things up is their ordinances. And maybe we ought to take a look at that. Maybe we ought to take a look at ordinances of other communities and see what they do to make the place look nice, and maybe adopt some of these ordinances from other places.
That you do up there, work on ordinances, and nothing happens. If the law is going to go over the ordinance, why bother? And I agree with Joyce that pride, we don't have pride in our city. People come to visit or go through and they'll say, this city has no pride. The minute they drive out, I've heard it. What's wrong with the city? Only in East Carbon can you live like some of the people, neighbors that we have, and they don't care. And if they get cited, so what? They pay their fine and they continue. I by myself, I try to keep my place up. And I wish others would do the same. I really do.
Hi, I'm Mary Howell, and from what I'm hearing now from the people up on the stage is, did we ever have any ordinances? I mean, don't they apply at all? I mean, all of a sudden, we have to follow the ordinances. I'm sorry, but I don't see any ordinance being taken care of. I, for one, went to a meeting, I think it was in March or April, and I asked about all these junk cars and trucks that are parked in people's yards that are not licensed, are not registered, and all I got was, oh, well, we'll see what we can do about it. We'll see what we can do about it. People go around, I mean, homeowners go around and mow their weeds and leave the weeds there. So what did they actually clean? I don't call that cleaning, not at all. It goes out into the neighbors' yards, and I, for one, I get really frustrated in seeing how some people keep their yards. Come on, you gotta get up off your butts and do something. Let's pretend that we're going to do all new ordinances when there's already ordinances in place that haven't been used. For how many years now? It just didn't happen a year or 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. They've been in place. Use them.
Mary, they have been in place, and they were used 2 years ago, or 4 years ago, when we first combined the cities. We had a law enforcement, or just for that ordinance, and it was, anyway, the part that I was assigned to, and I had people going around, when I couldn't do it, going around giving me addresses. And I was sending our ordinance worker over there. So they were in place, and they were taken care of.
Can you show me where?
Not now. I'm not on the council now. 2 years ago they were.
On their house? Is that what we're supposed to say? Is, oh, they cleaned up their place? A roof is a necessity of a home. What the appearance of your house looks like is what we're talking about, how people can come to our community and say, I don't want to go there anymore.
That's where
very depressing.
that's where the pride is, that we
That's our pride.
have to, all of us work together to do that. Just like Helper City, that they have beautiful little pots and stuff on their main street. It's the city's, Joyce has a website that helps clean up or I can't remember the name of it, but it's to help clean the citizens that can't do their own, and that's a good site. So we just need to do a little bit better on our law enforcement with that ordinance.
Thanks for the lecture, Mary. That's very good.
Well, you needed that.
Yes, we did. Yes. We've tried, but the folks that clean their yards and keep them looking nice, they're going to continue to do so. The ones that move in just need a place to stay. They don't care, and it's unfortunate. I know it is.
What about these people that rent houses?
Those are the ones
and mow the weeds and leave them?
That's the ones I'm usually talking about. The ones that live here and are settled here, all we can do is issue them a citation. You give them a couple of weeks of cleanup time, and then after that you give them a citation, and you hope the courts will do something.
Well, you give them as much time as it takes for the weeds to grow again.
Yes, I hear you. And it's a constant battle. Every spring through now, it's a constant battle.
And that's why you were voted in. That's why we voted you guys in.
And we try to uphold the rules and regulations, but sometimes it's very difficult. It's not a simple job.
My name's Kathy Bean, and I don't think that we need necessarily new ordinances. We need to enforce what we have. And if people are going to lawyer up, they have to pay for that in addition to their fines. The city has lawyers. I know that it costs money, but as Larry Wood said, keep dogging them. Some of these people are just rubbing our noses in it. I've got this many wrecked cars, and what are you going to do about it? I don't have running water in my house. What are you going to do about it? And they get away with it. And I think the thing we've got to do is enforce what we've got. New ordinances aren't going to change anything. Just enforcement is what we need.
I would like all of the candidates to answer this. I know all of you have been very active in the community for the good of the community. And so I would like to know what each of you is working on now to help make the community better in the position that you are in now, and how you would like to continue that or expand that if you are elected.
At the current time, we are working on a feasibility study for a new water treatment plant. Hopefully, we're looking for a 100% grant through the CIB. It's going to be probably a little over $1 million. Other things that I would like to see is a city fishing pond. I have made contact with the DNR and will continue to do so to see what we can do to do that. You know, it's unfortunate that every little city in this county, Helper, Wellington, and the county fairgrounds, has an area for the kids and stuff to go up and enjoy. At one time we did touch base with the gentleman that owned Westridge Enterprises. He flatly turned us down. All he referred to is how the residents of this area destroyed the ecosystem at the reservoir. And unfortunately, it only takes 1 or 2 people to do that. But with the fishing pond, we can put it closer to town and be able to keep a better eye on it. Other things I would like to see is, again, cleanup. We need to get strict on cleanup. And I agree, you don't need an ordinance to do that. You just need to make sure you follow through and get it done.
When I first came here, I went to the city council and I showed them a HUD, Urban Area Development website. There's funds out there to help the city clean up. There is funds. It's on the HUD website. And for a city this size, there's extra money because the city can't afford it. So as the cleaning up part is, there's funds. You just have to find it. And to address the lady's argument about the city ordinance for cleaning up. Right now, there's 2 sets of ordinance. You have one for Sunnyside, and you have one for East Carbon. Some of them cancel each other out. We go through these. That's why we're trying to consolidate these and put some teeth into them and make it all one ordinance. Because you're still dealing with 2 different cities' ordinance. One says you can have 5 chickens, the other one says you can have 3 chickens. So until these ordinances are straightened out, there's no proper way or direction to fulfill the requirements for the city. But once again, there is money out there through HUD to help clean up. There's money for asbestos cleanup, there's money for lead cleanup, and I think Ms. Young found there's $5,000 per whatever type rundown home. These homes cannot be fixed and cleaned up when it's just a spot of paint. They need some serious funding. And it has to address this. You have to go after these funding. The only problem is right now we've had 4 hurricanes, wildfires in California, and that funding is going to dry up. Thank you.
I'd just like to say something on the ordinances. We have been working on them for 2 years to combine them. A lot of the ordinances that we had before for the 2 cities were a little bit vague or soft as far as what the city was trying to enforce. It's hard to enforce a vague ordinance. As far as involvement, I was the co-founder and past president for the Recreation Association. Our main goal was to promote community involvement with children. We strive to instill pride and fondness for our community and the kids that are growing up here right now. I'm also involved in the fire department and planning and zoning. I'd like to continue all of this. The youth program is continuing on, even though I am no longer the president, and that makes me absolutely I'm just excited that it's continuing on, even though I'm not the president anymore. If elected, I'd like to continue the expansion of recreation, not just for the youth, but the adults. A fishing pond. I have talked to city workers and where would be a good placement for such a pond to utilize that water for other things just besides recreation, such as water in the parks, which would help with the expenses for the city on maintenance of the parks. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to answer that question. Anyway, I have been working with our chief and with the city workers on the fire department to try to get a FEMA grant to get new SCBA and equipment that we need that's expired for the fire department. Working on that right now. But what I'd like to do is I've talked to a number of people about this, but I don't feel I have the authority to start projects yet until I actually get a position on the council. But what I'd like to see is activities committees. I'd like to see community involvement. And I would like to, if we get activities committees and we get like a couple of people on there to work on activities for the youth, and we get a couple on there for activities for the adults, I would love to see like antiques fair come into East Carbon and have an annual antiques fair and have people come in from other communities, and I'd like to see dances at the park. I'd like to see people with local talent that'd be willing to come and play music or something, and we got those, you know, and we have school kids that involved in theater. In Columbia we have amphitheater. I'd love to see during the summer put on a play or something and get some community involvement out. And I think that camaraderie, what this town used to be, like Mary was talking about with the pride and stuff, everybody knew each other. And everybody kind of like was there for each other. You know, when everybody worked at the coal mines, you know, you worked with the people who lived next to you. And I think if we get people out and get to know each other a little bit better, then maybe, you know, that it would help the community out quite a bit to do that, to do these committees. I'd like to see a housing committee, people that would be willing to help out with housing. Okay.
like to direct, can you hear me? I'm Jennifer. I would like to direct a question for Harry, please. I want to know if you feel that East Carbon has a drug problem, and if you do, what would be your solution to it?
Carla, did I cut you off?
What's everybody think? I don't think I even have to answer that. I think what we need to do is ask for outside help. That's the only way you're going to do it. It's just like our fine police department going around issuing people tickets to clean up their yard. They have better things to do. The police officers should be doing police enforcement. They're too small of a force. So I would recommend going after outside help to try to do something. They probably maybe have more experience. That's what I would do. The city does have a problem, and it has a reputation. You can go into Price and talk to people, and it's just like everybody's been talking. Oh, you live out in East Carbon. Oh, you live out in East Carbon. You know, the first thing is, oh, you guys got a drug problem. The only way, I think, the way we'll do it would be probably from outside help. We find another agency to interdict.
East Carbon is not the only city with a drug problem. It's an epidemic. It's everywhere. It's running rampant. Unfortunately, being a small town as we are, we hear a lot more about it. What can we do about it? Well, we need to get the drug task force more involved in coming out in this area. I know I've talked to them a few times, and they are looking at some people, but it takes time for them to accumulate the evidence that they need. Even though people are stopping and leaving just there for a couple of minutes, you know, I think we know who these people are. And I'm pretty sure the drug task force knows who these people are. It's just a matter of recording what's going on. You know, our police officers are in a bind that way because when they come around, they know. I'm sure these folks have scanners and they listen to what's going on. So, you know, unfortunately, like I said, everybody has this problem. It's an epidemic. I think education is one of the best things that we can do. I know Carbon Medical has hired a psychologist that will be there full-time now. So if you know of anybody, or if anybody needs assistance, they can contact Carbon Medical and talk to the psychologist. She'll be there to help. And hopefully that's one way we can help solve this problem. You know, if you know kids that are having problems, talk to them. Have them see the psychologist. Have them get a hold of Carbon Medical and get an appointment. That's one way to help.
Like I said last Monday, we do have a drug problem. I'd like it cleaned up. We've been promised by the county to have a drug force up here, and if the people all know where these drug houses are, then we should do something about it, whatever we can, and it is hard. But the one thing I want to say is we need to reach out and help them. There's all kinds of things that we can do to help our citizens. We can teach them how to work. We can teach them how to get off things. We can teach them different things that they can become reliable again. We can make a difference. Even if it's just a group of us got together and taught them how to get jobs.
There is a group already.
Here?
Yeah, it's been here for a while.
Well, they need to go there then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, see, a lot of us don't know about that, so.
It's
it's all over the papers and it's on bulletin boards. A lot of people do know about it, honestly.
Oh,
It's
well.
a very good group. In fact, Barbara can probably tell you all about it. She knows.
Well, I haven't been on council, and I just
I'm sorry, I
didn't,
didn't
but,
mean
you
to
know,
say
but
that, yeah.
there is a drug problem, and we do have a, 40% of our community is on food stamps and welfare. 16% of us are working, and I imagine that this is a 16%.
Is that just in East Carbon alone?
That's in East Carbon alone.
Yeah, Jan, you know what the drug problem is? It's bad, but as they said, you know, it's all over the place. But what I'd like to see is the thing that bothers me the worst is the youth. You know what I mean? If we could start a more aggressive and a better drug prevention program for the youth and stop it where it starts, you know what I mean? And then we've accomplished something. You know, and again, we need to let the people of the town know that, hey, if you're having situations where you're seeing drug deals go down and you know drug houses, call.
Who do they call? The county? I mean, who's going to go after?
Exactly. Well, you know what? Over the drug task force is Sheriff Jeff Wood. He's not related to me, but that's who he is.
So we
Jeff
call
Wood.
in every time we see drug
Or
activity.
even call our local police department.
And what will happen?
Right, well, you know what? There's a lot of holes in the bottom of a lot of buckets. And I think when we get on there, you know, we're gonna have to try to stop up some of those leaks and some of those buckets. And that's one of them that we'll have to deal with and try to do something with the drug situation, just like we have to do with the ordinances. And there's a lot of work to do, you know, and unfortunately, you know, it may seem like it'd be an easy thing to happen, but like you see people get in trouble with drugs and they get off because they don't have the proper evidence. They don't have.
Or maybe they just let them overdose, because there's been plenty of overdoses too that could have been prevented if something would have been done sooner.
Okay, well, let's get that one done. Okay, thank you.
So, dealing with the kids in the community, a lot of the coaches know the kids personally through the sports. They know the parents. There's a lot of kids that participate in our programs that their parents aren't as involved as a lot of us would like to see, or involved at all. And it's because they're off doing their own thing with drugs. And it's a focus for us to help prevent these kids from following in those footsteps, so it doesn't become a multi-generational problem, or to limit it continuing. As far as who you call, any law enforcement you call, there's been numerous accounts over the past year or so of people reporting things on Facebook or telling their friends that something is going on, and the police department, the other law enforcement, has no idea that happened because nobody called them. And that's what needs to happen, is if you see a drug deal happen, call. The more you call, the more they're aware, the more they're going to watch, and the more you'll see happen. So, communication.
They tell you they have to have probable cause.
Hold on, if you don't have a microphone.
The reason I came here tonight is to get to know the people I don't know. First of all, you know, I think Doug has done an excellent job as a mayor. I mean, I know he's not perfect. And the current city council has done an excellent job too. You know, they've got a tough job to do. But what I want to find out, Harry, is a few things about you. Why are you running for mayor? Where did you come from and how long have you been here?
I'm going to keep it short. My father lived here. He passed away. He's buried over here. I worked at Geneva Steel 30 years ago. I got called to active duty. I volunteered to go back to active duty, doing Desert Steel, Desert Storm. I retired with over 24 years of military service. I came back, still had the itch, and I went to Alaska for 25 years, where I worked civil service, protecting all you people at these radar sites, tracking the Russians and the Chinese. My whole life has been giving to people and trying to protect people. I missed it a moment ago. I should have mentioned it. Miss Connie, what have I done for this community? Well, I got a grant to buy a brand new trailer with all the material in it for emergency response for the city. When people says, and plus radios, and they says it ain't gonna happen. Working with Miss Connie on that, the city's a little bit better prepared for emergencies. Also, I work with this gentleman here in city planning. But I'm no stranger to Utah. I lived in Pleasant Grove. I went to junior high school there. I lived in Salt Lake. And I came back after all these years, and my father lived here, and he left me his house.
Why do you want to be mayor of East Garden City? What are you going to do for the city?
Well, that I'll explain a little bit later. Right now I'm in the process of a dilemma. But talking about drugs, I worked on the Yukon River with the native villages. You think you got a problem here? They hoof gasoline, they hoof hairspray, they drink aftershave. I've seen it all. I've worked drug enforcement in El Paso with DEA and the Border Patrol when I was in the service. I worked construction all my life. Construction management. I worked all around the world. I've seen this town has its own little mindset, and sometimes it takes some people from the outside to change that mindset.
Well, what do you want to do for our city? Why do you want to be mayor? There has to be a reason.
I've got a bunch of people that are standing behind me who want me to succeed and change some things in the city. And we talked about improvements, and like I said, there's a lot of HUD. There's money out there. You just have to grab it. The government has. I mean, I feel like the kid going off for parch. Please, sir, may I have another? We shouldn't be doing that. But industry has bypassed us. There's not going to be any mines anymore. These days are over. We have to find something different. And some of these suggestions about greenhouses, that was talked about years ago. And some of the other suggestions, these were done years ago. And it's bypassed us. I mean, now you got Helper, I think it's Helper's getting that 100 kW solar farm in. They bypassed us. You have to grab it. You have to go after it. Does that answer your question?
My name is Anastasia Lawson, and I've been in the community most of my life. Speaking about the drug stuff, I used to be involved in that a lot growing up. Maybe some of you probably know that. But in the last 7 years, I've been doing a recovery program in Price. And then the last 2 years, I've been out here doing a recovery program. When we first came in here to do the recovery program, I had a lot of resistance. I had a lot of people tell me that you're not going to succeed in doing the recovery program. The people out here are not even worth it. Trust me, I've had that said to me plenty of times. And I'll tell you one thing that makes me really pissed off. Because for one, if there wasn't people behind me cheering me on that I can become clean and that I can succeed, I would have never done it. I need support from this community. When I came in here, I had a lot of people go door to door and asking for support. I even asked the mayor to come, and I had the city council. I had 2 city council members come to our program when we had a thing here in town. I didn't get no support. I need support. Me and my husband are doing this. I have 14 people at one time coming to this recovery program. I need support from our community and from our mayor and from our city council. I only got a couple city council members that are behind me that help me. Barbara is one of them. And I'm thankful for that because she puts it in the newsletter every month for me. I need your support. Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm basically very vague of you asking for my support. I forget a lot of different things if I don't write them down. But I'm letting you know now, if you want some support, I'll be there.
I do.
Okay.
I need it.
All right.
I need it from everybody in this room.
Because
you know what? These people in this town are worth it.
They are worth it.
Because
I agree with
I grew
you.
up with them. Some of them are family members that I grew up with. Some of them are adults that are in addiction.
Yes.
And they have no place to go.
And I agree with you. One of our greatest assets are the people of this town. And I agree.
They're worth it.
They are worth it. I've never told anybody that nobody in this town is worth it. I've always spoken highly of this area. And you can ask anybody. I always put a positive attitude when people talk about our area. We have a lot to offer. And I think we can continue for a lot to offer many, many things. So, like I said, I'm sorry I wasn't there prior. If you need my support, you have it.
Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering, I've heard that grants have fell through the cracks and we've missed out on a lot of money a few times. How are you, if you are our mayor, or you the new mayor, are going to make sure that we don't let this money just fall through the cracks again, and whoops, we forgot that deadline, or it didn't make it to this deadline? Like, what are you going to do different now, or how are you going to make sure we get these grants? He said he had the HUD, he went to city council and told you guys about the HUD funds, or the money grants. Did anybody even follow up with that, or was that just swept under the rug?
Again, probably forgotten. We have quite a few meetings. You can't.
That's a big thing to forget.
It is a big
You
thing
gotta
to
get
forget.
that pen and paper out and start taking notes.
I do take notes during the meeting. And that's one thing, that we probably need to look at. But no, we haven't really lost out on grants.
I know Judy did.
What's that?
I heard you guys talking about it at a meeting. I don't know right off the top of my head, but
Because we're putting in, I think we did miss out on a fire grant with the combined cities. The cities are now,
and now look like where they are. Their stuff is expired, and you guys just let it fall through.
that's been an issue for quite a while. And we couldn't get grants for the SCBA's. We went to the county. Well, basically, again, we have to split the cities. Sunnyside went to the county, and they were going to negotiate for new SCBA's. The city ended up paying for them because the county reneged on an agreement they had made with the previous mayors and council. So the Sunnyside City ended up paying for those SCBA's. We, as a mayor and council, only know what we're told. And they have told us that the SCBA's are running out. We did get some that we could use, and some of them we still use. And we're in the process. Larry Wood is working on that right now for a grant, which goes in November. So hopefully we'll get the grant for the SCBA's. The city's signed an agreement with the county to fund the cities with so much money every year, and it increases.
Hi, I'm Karen Johnson. My grandparents lived here, my aunts, uncles, my mother grew up here.
Sorry, didn't see you standing.
I can't remember what it was called. There's these ladies who used to write grants. Vista ladies, there we go. Vista ladies. Vista ladies, the program's still alive. I talked to the county.
Harry, talk in the microphone, please.
You get the Vista ladies, you get the county to give you a grant to get the Vista ladies. You can have the ladies write the grants. I know the city council members, I know for a fact, they fight very hard trying to get these grants done. But if we can get some of these Vista ladies back through a grant and take some of the pressure, I personally get an email from the governor, from the Senator Hatch's office through the county of what grants come down. My civilian job when I worked for the government, we did a lot of abatement, asbestos type work, remedial work. Of course, I did the runways and everything else. But I know about the grants and the government working with the grants. I've worked with I can't write them, but I know about them. But if you get the Vista ladies back and get enough to start writing some of these grants, it would take the pressure off the city council. And we've had a couple people volunteer to write some grants, especially at the county level for the CERT, the emergency response stuff. So.
On the $5,000 grant per house in our city, I know 3 that have got their grants. They do it themselves. They find the grant. There's a website, but you write your own grants. You have the papers, everything. It's question and answer. It's fairly simple, and I don't have the site right off, but there's a couple different sites. And but the Vista was here about 4 years ago. That was a good program, and that really does need to come back. Even if we just have a couple volunteers, there's lots of grants out there to be had. Thanks.
Okay, what I want to know is, I agree with the community. I agree, some of these yards are nasty, but I'll be the first one to volunteer to help somebody clean it up. I agree we have a drug problem here. I'd be the first one to volunteer my time. I've been a mental health counselor for 13 years. But what I want to know is, what are we going to do about our money here? We're robbing Peter to pay Paul all the time. We paid these ladies in the office for 2 years, had somebody come in and train them. If they don't know their job right now, we need to replace them and save that money and put it where we need to put it, instead of robbing Peter to pay Paul everywhere. So I'm going to ask the current mayor and the runner-up to answer that question for me.
One of the problems with our workers, they were never trained to do what they were doing. It was just passed down. Most places now, if you want somebody to do accounting, they have to have some type of accounting experience. So when we fell through on our audit, we're not really paying Peter to pay Paul. The funding's there, so they say. But you don't get all your funding, unfortunately. You depend on the revenue from the taxes, from the residents, and from our industries that are here. And most of that's a guesstimate. They say if they take all the homes, the property taxes, what you're going to get from the industries, you should get this much money. The past few years, the power plant has protested what they have to pay in taxes. And I know a couple times we've had to pay money back. So you're allocated this much money, but you have to give some of it back. I think this last audit we had, it was an eye-opener for everybody. We learned a big lesson of, because they say you're going to get this money, don't expect it. And for the workers, if they would have been properly trained, yes, they've done this job many, many years, but if you look back at the audits, there's been problems for many, many years. And unfortunately, on this administration, it all came to a head. So now, it's our responsibility to fix it.
Okay, what I would do is I would have a fresh set of eyes. I think we need a totally from top to bottom internal, not investigation, but an internal audit from top to bottom. Bring in somebody totally different from what the city's used to, try to get it within a budget, and have them from top to bottom, where you're spending your money, where you're spending your training. The city will always spend money on training. The guys who need to get the water taken care of, they have to go through recertification. Police officers have to go through recertification. But I would have an outside agency come in and do a top to bottom internal investigation on it and see what the strong points are and which are the weak points. Does that answer your question?
Still doesn't answer what we're gonna do about the money. We're gonna pay them to come in and do it again this year.
No, this would be a different type of audit. Not the people who are coming in right now. This would be a different type of audit. This would be a city type management type, not a training management. There's a difference. I hope I answered your question.
I've had 45 years of business management. 25 of them years have been corporate manager or corporate owner. I have to take recertifications every 2 years myself, 6 hours of continuing education. I do accounts receivable, accounts payable. I do audits, I do taxes, quarterlies. I know how to do all of this stuff, and I know I can help the city do this without bringing or paying somebody else $60,000. And I know I can do it, because I have done it for 45 years. I went to college for this. I've done this, and I can help. Thanks.
If the people that are there at the city hall don't have qualifications for what they're supposed to be doing, then why are they there?
Again, they were just hired out of high school, or they'd come to the city and got a job. It started 18, 20 years ago, and it's continued. I mean, you just don't, unfortunately, come in and clean house. That's not the way that I would do things.
If you know that they're not doing, I mean, they're not qualified.
If you don't have a microphone, hold on.
They were performing their jobs, They made sure the city was balanced. It's up to the city council and the mayor to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do. And finally, after I don't know how many years of the same auditors, we had to switch auditors. So last year we had a new set of auditors. This year it's going to be the same people that did the audit last year. So we're hoping that with the training that they're receiving now, they will be able to function and know what they're doing. You know, it's not a matter of, you know, balancing your checkbook. It's not.
That's why they should know what they're doing.
They do know what they're doing.
They do?
They do.
Why is the city in such a big mess then?
The city's not in a big mess.
Oh.
The city is paying its bills. The city is paying its workers. The city is keeping up with the repairs on the roads. You know, that takes money, and there's funds for those that we can use. So the city's not got empty pockets. We do have funding, and we'll continue to have funding.
Well, then why don't you put these people that are in the office in places where they should be so that they can learn what they should be doing? And, I mean, some of them are probably ready to retire. Oh, I'm done. Thank you.
Just teasing there. That was an interesting comment because as far as I know, East Garden City is the highest taxed in the whole county. And this is to the audience. And it's been under this administration. And Sunnyside City used to be the highest taxed in the county. Now we are that we joined Sunnyside City under the current mayor. Why? I'll leave that up to your own estimates or whatever. But you have school taxes, you have all these state levy taxes, and then you have city levy taxes. The city multiplier for East Garden and Sunnyside is the highest out of Kenilworth, Schofield, all the county, all the cities in Carbon County. And that is by the current administration. If I don't, I may be mistaken, but I don't think I'm mistaken. I was in a meeting sometime last year, and our water rates were raised because the city was short on funds. So it's kind of, I don't know if I believe what I'm hearing. I'll just leave that up to the audience.
Yes, it's unfortunate the city does have the highest levy in the county. When Sunnyside raised its levy, I was not then the mayor. I did not want Sunnyside to combine with East Garden. I'll put that out there. Sunnyside was doing good financially. East Garden City was not. They still had a high levy, tax levy. The county auditor sets the levy. They need to see what the city requires. You want to lower the taxes? Get rid of your police force. You want to lower the taxes? Get rid of your ambulance. Okay? That's how you lower your taxes. That's not going to happen. We are out here by ourselves. So in order for us to pay for stuff like this, unfortunately, we need to pay the taxes. So Mr. Minna, yes, it's unfortunate. We didn't have to raise the water rates. The reason for the water rate increase was to pay for the water meters. That's set into a different enterprise fund, and that's all that money is used for. It's $2 a month per resident, and that money is set aside for nothing but the water meters. And once that's paid off, hopefully, that $2 increase will go away. That's my intent. That was my intent at the beginning. It's unfortunate you have to pay for things.
That was the intent of Sunnyside. When the infrastructure came in, they said it was a temporary fee.
Sunnyside would be alive and well if it was by itself today.
Ricky, could I just take 1 minute? Before we close, before Ricky takes the mic, I just want to thank everyone that's here, but I want to remind everybody that you all have a voice. And there is a city council meeting that happens twice a month, and there's only about 5 of us that attend those city council meetings on a regular basis. I really believe if you want a voice, you need to attend your city council meetings.
Thank you for coming tonight. We do appreciate your time. Thanks.